Hi, and welcome to Simply Happy Conversations. I'm Narelle King, and in this Simply Happy Conversation favourite tip series, Sarah Cottman is sharing tips about setting up your home like a department store. She's a professional organiser who's been helping people get out from under their piles of clutter and get organised since 2006. She's also a speaker and provides training for professional organisers. To listen to the full conversation, head to episode 105, Disorganisation and Overwhelm with Sarah Cottman Professional Organiser, or check out the recording on YouTube. Let's jump into this favourite tip episode. Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations. I'm Narelle King, wellness and organisational coach and yin and nidra yoga instructor. This podcast will help you create more time using organisational strategies so that you can start to simplify your life and prioritise your health. I'll be sharing conversations with other health and organisational experts and solo episodes with tips to help you simplify your life and prioritise your health. Why and how do people find themselves disorganised and in clutter?
So many reasons. I'm going to talk about this, I think, a little differently because it was something that has meant so much to me to assist me to get organised. And I tell this to clients and I tell this to professional organisers as well. When you're a homeowner and you feel disorganised and everything's out of control and everything's overwhelmed and you find it difficult to prioritise because everything's important, which actually means nothing is important, but it's so emotional. And a way to think of it as a homeowner is, instead of it being a home, think of it like a department shop. So think of it like David Jones, and that you're the concierge, you're the information person. So what's a logical place? You know, if somebody came up to your front desk and asked you where the socks are, where is a logical place to keep socks? And again, if anybody organised is listening to this, you know, that's a ridiculous thing to say, but from someone who is very disorganised and they're not able to keep up with the washing and everything feels like they're walking in treacle and it's difficult and they feel useless and hopeless, start thinking of it in a different way. It doesn't mean that you're going to throw everything away because, you know, an empty department store is useless. It's no help to anyone. And you want your house and your belongings to be a home and a sanctuary. So if you think of it in a different way and try and take that emotion out, the decisions on where to put things and the volume of those things becomes a lot easier to manage.
Definitely. It is, isn't it? Yes, I love that, the department store. And I just think of the client I've just come from, and we have literally set up a department store in
really?
like, not really, but just in our back area, going through boxes and boxes and boxes of things that were in her garage. It's taken, what are we at, 8 months now, and just plodding along, 2 hours a week and setting up all the clear boxes with all the things. Like today we just saw all of her school books, like notes, stories, but that was in a mix of all sorts of things. So it was really nice to be able to now say, here's the department store of all of your memories.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then when you've got all that together, then you can be much more discerning on what to keep, because I think especially when you are a little neurospicy, you do have the ADHD, it's like, well, I know there's something somewhere. And that's why I really enjoy doing whole home organising. And that's where my bliss is, going into a client's home and doing the whole thing, because there's nothing lurking about in a garage or a spare room or in the roof or, in a garage underneath. Everything's dealt with. And the joy and relief, and it's an interesting thing, the joy and the relief for the client, some is immediately available to them. I've done the job. But I think it's only about 40%, because it's going to take them at least a year to rely on the fact that everything is done, and to not have the second thought of, I won't put that away because I'll never find it again. Well, hang on. Let's take a deep breath. I know that I've got a space for that. I'm going to follow through on this, and I'm just going to trust in the work that I've done.
Yeah.
So, that getting out of those panicky, overwhelming habits takes a long time. The relief is immediate, but only a portion of that relief. It takes a long time to get on top of that.
It does, doesn't it? And one of the things that I found really useful for this particular client are those QR codes that we put on each of the phones. So we used a label, but we also have added the QR code. So on her phone now, she just searches whatever it is, craft. She's lots of craft searches, and she's like, I know where it is. It's in the box. There's a photo of the box in the room, and she's like, I just love this. So it's actually motivated her to continue the process.
Brilliant.
Now she knows that she can find anything she wants anywhere in the house.
And you've obviously handled that really well. Like, you've managed that situation really well, because she's had the trust to understand and believe that you know what you're talking about, and you've had the commitment to her to make sure that she does understand. They understand how to go about it, and then trusting in that process. So nice job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. If you'd like to reduce your paper and digital clutter and free yourself from the overwhelm of clutter so that you can claim back time and space to enjoy the things you love, head over to simplyhappy.com.au in the resource section and grab the declutter checklist and start to reduce your clutter even with small amounts of time. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.